The angry gut phenomenon. If you are over the age of 60, you might have noticed something strange happening to your digestion. Foods you have eaten your entire life suddenly cause bloating. You might be experiencing unpredictable trips to the bathroom, unexpected reflux, or a constant feeling that your stomach is just angry. Most people write this off as a normal part of aging. But what if I told you that this sudden digestive chaos isn't just a stomach issue? What if I told you it is directly connected to your energy levels, your mood, and most importantly, your memory? Welcome back to Health and Well-Being. And today we are tackling one of the most searched medical curiosities of the year, the gut-brain axis. Over the next 25 minutes, I am going to give you a clinical masterclass on what is actually happening inside your microbiome right now. We're going to uncover why the probiotic supplement you bought at the grocery store probably isn't working, how your gut bacteria are actively communicated with your brain, and the exact evidence-based protocols you can use to reset your system. Let's get to the root of the problem. The vagus nerve, the information superhighway. To understand why a bloated stomach leads to a foggy brain, we have to talk about anatomy. Your brain and your gut are physically connected by the vagus nerve. It is the longest cranial nerve in your body, acting as a high-speed fiber optic cable between your central nervous system and your enteric nervous system, often called your second brain. Here's the fascinating part. Communication doesn't just flow down from the brain to the gut. The vast majority of the traffic, about 80% of the signals, travels up from the gut to the brain. Inside your gut, you have trillions of bacteria. These bacteria are tiny chemical factories. They produce neurotransmitters. Did you know that an estimated 90% of your body's serotonin, the chemical responsible for happiness, focus, and calm, is manufactured in your gut, not your brain? When your microbiome is balanced, it sends a steady stream of positive, calming signals up the vagus nerve. Your brain feels sharp. But when that microbiome becomes imbalanced, a state we call dysbiosis, those bacteria start producing inflammatory chemicals. They send alarm signals up to your brain. The systemic inflammation crosses the blood-brain barrier, and clinically, this manifests as brain fog, fatigue, and memory issues. Dysbiosis after 60, the great shift. So, why does this happen specifically in our 60s and beyond? Why does the gut suddenly turn on us? As we age, we experience a natural decline in stomach acid production and digestive enzymes. This changes the pH of our digestive tract, making it harder to break down proteins and easier for bad bacteria to overgrow. Furthermore, decades of modern living take their toll. Every course of antibiotics you've ever taken, years of chronic stress, and diets high in ultra-processed foods slowly wipe out the diverse, good bacteria. We lose keystone species, specifically bacteria like Akkermansia and bifidobacteria, which are critical for protecting the lining of the gut wall. When these protective bacteria die off, the lining of your gut becomes permeable. We call this increased intestinal permeability or leaky gut. Endotoxins leak into your bloodstream. Your immune system mounts a massive defense, and you end up in a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation. This is the exact mechanism driving that angry gut feeling, and it is a known accelerant for neurodegenerative diseases. The restoration protocol, beyond basic probiotics. This brings us to the biggest misconception in gut health, the idea that you can just take a generic probiotic pill to fix this. It is like throwing a packet of grass seed onto dry, cracked concrete and expecting a lush lawn. It doesn't work. To reverse dysbiosis and protect your brain, we need a clinical approach. Here's the protocol. Number 1, focus on prebiotics, not just probiotics. Before you introduce new bacteria, you have to feed the good bacteria you already have. They eat specialized plant fibers called prebiotics. Your goal should be dietary diversity, aiming for 30 different plant types a week. We're talking about asparagus, garlic, onions, leeks, and green bananas. These specific fibers produce short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, which heal the gut lining and reduce brain inflammation. Number 2, harness dietary polyphenol. These are the dark, rich color pigments in foods like blueberries, dark chocolate, green tea, and pomegranate. Recent 2025 and 2026 clinical data heavily emphasizes polyphenol because they act as targeted fertilizers for your microbiome, specifically feeding the anti-aging bacteria that keep your gut lining intact. Number 3, vagal toning. Remember that information superhighway, the vagus nerve? We need to actively stimulate it to improve gut motility, how fast food moves through your system. You can physically stimulate the vagus nerve through deep, diaphragmatic breathing, humming, cold exposure, like ending your shower with 30 seconds of cold water. And surprisingly, regular cardiovascular exercise. When you tone the vagus nerve, you tell the gut it is safe to digest and repair. The future of medicine is moving toward personalized microbiome mapping. In the clinic, we are no longer just looking at standard blood panels. We are analyzing the specific bacterial ratios in the gut to predict cardiovascular and cognitive risks. If you're struggling with severe, unexplained digestive changes, speak to your physician about comprehensive stool testing or checking for SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which is incredibly common but widely underdiagnosed in older adults. Conclusion and outro. Your digestive tract is not just a plumbing system. It is a control center for your biological age and your cognitive health. By feeding your microbiome the diverse fibers it desperately needs and lowering systemic inflammation, you're not just calming an angry gut. You are actively protecting your brain. If you found this masterclass helpful, please like the video, subscribe to Health and Wellbeing, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. I have linked all the peer-reviewed clinical trials we discuss today in the description below, so you can read the science for yourself. Until next time, stay informed and stay healthy.